I'm Cassie Camp. I'm a school-based therapist out of the Butler office, and I'm at Creekside Middle School. I'm excited to be on here today and take a few moments with everybody. I definitely know how important it is to take a few moments for yourself every single day, but it's really nice that we get to do this together this week for these mental health breaks. So for today, we're just going to do a pretty quick and easy grounding activity using all 5 of your senses. You're probably pretty familiar with this one. I think it's used a lot, but I use this a lot personally and with really all of my clients. It's very helpful even for like the littlest of littles to like all through adulthood, I think, just because everybody does experience the world and like through their senses. So we'll just kind of get started, and I'll give a little pause in between each prompt for you to engage with it on your own and notice what's happening around you with all of your senses. One thing that I will note before we like launch into it is the experience of non-judgment and how important that can be for mindfulness activities, because if you're working from home like I am for today, or like in your office and you notice, oh, like there's a pile of laundry, I need to do that, or there's a pile of paperwork, I should do that. We kind of judge those things around us instead of just experiencing them and being in the moment. So really try to focus on not judging if what you see or experience is good or bad. It just simply is. And just kind of taking a few moments to acknowledge what is and what is around you. So I will go ahead and start. You guys can do this a lot of different ways. I like the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think it makes it simple because you can just use your hand, and it makes it easier as you experience the different senses, because it's hard to like think of 5 things you smell. So when you go down through, it makes a little more sense as we go through it. Go ahead and take a few moments to just notice what's around you, and just notice 5 very specific things you see. And the more specific, the better, because you can really tune into like what your surroundings are. So go ahead and take a few moments to just notice 5 very specific things that you see around you. And the more variety with what you notice, the better. If you can notice different colors, very specific things, maybe something you've never noticed before. One time I did this with my dog and I found a little like freckle spot, and it was just so cute. But it really grounded me and brought me into the moment of this is my visual experience. So then after sight, we use 5 for that. We'll go into 4, which is feeling. Feeling is a little bit up to interpretation. You can notice different textures that you physically can feel around you. You can also notice what your body feels. If you feel the sunlight on your face, if you're feeling maybe sweating or warmth or coolness, you can notice those sensations as well. But the sense of feeling, what your chair feels like, what the floor feels like beneath your feet. Notice 4 specific feelings that you can feel. And once you've noticed 4 things you can touch or feel, we'll move on to hearing. So 3 things that you hear. And often we may be in a quiet space to do these grounding activities, so it can be difficult to strain to hear what's around you. But you can notice things like the birds chirping outside, or the sound of the HVAC system going through the room, even the sound of your own voice or movement as well. So notice 3 things around you that you hear. And then the next sense we'll go into is smell. I often have to practice non-judgment with this one as well, because if you smell something maybe not so delightful, we are quick to judge. We're quick to say, that's a bad smell, I don't like that. It pulls us out of the moment. So if you do notice something that smells delightful or maybe not so delightful, without placing judgment on it, just 2 things you might smell. And then lastly, we'll have taste, which is also a tricky one sometimes. But notice anything you taste. If you are able to take a drink of a beverage near you or a candy, maybe you're doing this while eating your lunch, really noticing what taste is experiencing within your mouth and how that feels connected to this moment. I have a LaCroix, which really doesn't have much taste, but being mindful about it, we're able to notice those kinds of very specific tastes, sounds, sights, feelings, all of our senses around us, which connect us to this moment. And once you are present in the moment, I just have one quote to reflect on mindfulness itself, just to wrap up, but I have mindfulness is simply being aware of what is happening right now without wishing it were different, enjoying the pleasant without holding on when it changes, which it will, being with the unpleasant without fearing it will always be this way, which it won't. And that's a quote by James Baraz. So thank you for letting me guide you all in a wonderful activity today.